One of the things I really enjoy doing during the holiday season is making cookies. I bring them to my neighbors and to friends and to parties, and it's just what I've started doing. I make cookies, I make quick breads, and all sorts of goodies like that. Last year, I went thrift shopping and found baskets and platters and all sorts of things that I could package the cookies in. But this year I didn't have time to do that, and quite frankly, storing all that stuff from the summer on was something I just didn't want to do again. So this year I thought, since I know how to sew and sewing, I wanted to sew something that could be cute and could be useful, but also would be easy to store. I decided to make cookie bags. I searched the internet for ideas, and I found this wonderful YouTube channel called Backroad Bloom, run by a very talented young woman named Jaden. She had a wonderful video called Cookie Bags. So I watched the video a couple times and thought it was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. So I've changed it up a little bit, given an opportunity for multiple sizes, changed out the color of the lining, so it's a two-colored bag, and a couple other small adjustments. However, I highly recommend that you go to her channel and watch that video because I think she does a better job explaining it than I do, and I do want to give her full credit. This video is part of a collaboration named Last Minute Christmas DIYs, hosted by the Grace Life DIY Home Decor. Go to the Grace Life DIY Home Decor community page for a full playlist of all of the last minute Christmas DIYs featured in this collaboration. So here are some of the bags I'll be making, all different sizes. Whoops, I'm holding them with one hand. So anyway, you get the idea, with little cups and ribbons, different styles, different colors. Well, I've gone through my stash and picked out two fabrics that I think will go together well, and I cut them each 8 inches wide and 12 inches long. And each fabric I've cut two. There's two of this one, they're not attached, just two 8 by 12, and these two 8 by 12. At this point, it's a good idea to decide which is going to be your lining and which is going to be the outside, because that's going to determine a little bit how you sew these. So I decided that this little rocking horse fabric, let me show it to you, is going to be on the outside, and the polka dots are going to be on the inside. So when I cup it, it's going to look like this. So what I'm going to do right now is put the two fabrics right side to right side, lining and an outside, another lining and the outside, right side to right side, and I'm going to go across, and across the short end I'm going to sew them together. Each one I'm going to sew across the short end. So both of these pieces have been sewn together, so you have one long piece, one side with the red, one side with the green, and same with the other one. I've been using a 1/4 inch seam, which seems to work. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to put these together. I'm going to put the two reds together and the two greens together, match up the seams here, and then sew along the entire length of both sides, this side and this side. So I'll be right back. All right, so I just finished sewing up both of these long sides, here and here, and basically what we have is a big tube, just like that. Now earlier I asked you to determine what was going to be the lining and what was going to be the outside, and the lining is also the cuff area. So we determined that this rocking horse fabric was going to be on the outside, so I'm going to go ahead right now and sew a little seam right along there at a 1/4 inch, just there, just like that. We are going to leave this opening open, the lining side of it. All right, so this end is all sewn up. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors and just take a little clip off of the edge there, each corner, so that it turns easier. You're not going to want to get close to the stitching, but just above it. like that. So you have a corner like that. Let me do the other side. All right, you see that it all comes together in a corner. You're going to go right above it and just clip a little triangle off. That'll just reduce the bulk. Now we're going to turn it inside out, and you'll begin to see how this takes shape. We have our opening here, the lining fabric opening. So I'm just going to reach in and pull through this, the whole thing like that. I'm just going to reverse it. So we have our little bag completely reversed. Next order of business is to take a chopstick or something that does not have a really sharp end and just go in and poke out those corners. So we have kind of a squarish edge there. You find those corners. Just clean it up a little bit so we get a corner like that on each side. Let me do the side. Just find that corner and poke it out. Oops, not quite. There we go. Here's what that corner looks like after it's been poked out. And you might want to run your chopstick or whatever against this seam line because it's going to have a tendency to kind of curl inwards, and you want that as clean as possible. So I'm going to do that on the other side. Also go ahead and start unrolling the seam here on the lining fabric as well. We're going to iron this in a minute, and we want it to be as ready as possible for the iron. So basically you're just going to pull it out so you have your seam line there. So I've got this ready to go. I'm going to lay it out here continually, unrolling those side seams, and I'm going to start ironing from one end to the other. Just watching those side seams, they can roll back under pretty quickly. So now you can iron. You want to keep those side seams from rolling back in again, and you're ironing to get those corners kind of crisp and everything looking good. Remember we had left this raw edge here, it was the open end. Well, I've just turned it under about 1/4 of an inch and pinned it to keep it secure. And I'm going to iron that right now, because what we're going to do when I'm done ironing is we're going to sew right across the line here to close it up. We're going to top stitch it. So I did put the pins, as I said, to keep it in place, and I'm going to go ahead now and iron that. Now that that's been ironed and turned under, I'm just going to run a line of stitching across the top. Here it is all sewed up. Oh, so basically we have a closed tube, and believe it or not, we're almost done. What you're going to do is open this up in the middle where the two fabrics meet. Get that open just like that, and we're going to shove the lining fabric inside. And the top stitch is not as nice looking as the closed seam at the bottom, so that's why we're doing it this way, why the top stitch is going inside, because it's just not the nice looking side. So I'm just going to shove this in here, just like that. And I'm going to get my trusty chopstick again, just to make sure all the corners kind of line up. So here it is. The inside's on the inside, the outside's on the outside. It's all closed up. I've got the ends well matched from the inside to the outside, and I'm going to go ahead and do another iron on this. Now, I've never been a big fan of the iron. It's just tedious sometimes, but I do think it makes things look so much nicer. So I'm going to go ahead up at the top here. Now, if you want, you could go around and top stitch this open end, but I'm just going to iron it and not worry about top stitching. That's really a personal decision. I don't have the straightest top stitch in the world, and I don't think it's completely necessary, but that's definitely up to you. The last thing I'm going to do is make a little cuff. Cuff is optional, but I think it looks so cute, so I think this is going to be a personal decision how wide you want that cuff. About 1.5 inches seems to be good. I think this is about 1.5 inches. There. So once you get these done, you fill your cookie bag with cookies and tie a little ribbon around it, or some cording and turn that cup over again, and you've got a pretty nifty way to bring your cookies around. Again, I want to thank Jaden from Backroad Bloom for coming up with the original concept. It's brilliant, and I enjoyed watching the video, learning how you did it, and I enjoyed making it my own too. I hope you enjoy making this as much as I have. Thank you so much for watching.